Have you ever felt like you're in a place where it's been hard and I have a big vision, but really I feel like I'm starting out small? If you feel like you are holding yourself back or you're holding on to a vision that is waiting for you to move forward and operate in all of your business, then this is a perfect episode for you. And I have the perfect guest. As a matter of fact, what I'm gonna encourage you to do is turn on your do not disturb and lock in, because our guest today is powerful and has a story, I like to say, from Sicily to success. What's good, Elevation Nation, and welcome to the Elevate It podcast, where it stands for inner tugging the divine pull within that guides us in self-awareness, relationships, and spiritual unfolding through inner work. I am your host, Christian F. Johnson, and you already know, let's go! Today's guest is a living proof that you don't need perfect conditions to pursue the powerful dream. At just 16 years old, he left his homeland in Sicily with little money and limited resources. But one thing that was burning in his heart was vision, was a dream. And with that small step of faith, eventually it turned into something flavorful, something fulfilling, something deeply rooted in community. And he didn't just build a successful business, he's created a space where people feel seen, feel served, and feel satisfied. So whether it's a hot pizza or a heartfelt conversation at the bakery counter, because that's where I like to go ahead and go when I go in there, all right? This man leads with presence, with passion, and with purpose. Listen, his story reminds us that every big dream is built moment by moment, decision by decision, and that the journey is just a powerful way for us to reach our destination. He is here to talk with us about big dreams that start small. Elevation Nation, please help me welcome Mr. Tony to the podcast. How are you, sir?
Very good, sir. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I am elated, and I have to let Elevation Nation know that it was many a times of us stopping by your restaurant, Pomod'oro, which is in Downingtown. All right, I want you to be clear on where that is, right? And Mr. Tony can go ahead and he'll share a little bit of his story, but I'll tell you, it was the times where I can go in your restaurant and I can sit down, and not only do I have fresh and amazing food, your staff is amazing.
Thank you.
And when they come to me at the end, they say, do you want dessert? And I'll be honest with you, I tell them no. You know why?
Too full.
No, because I gotta get up and go see you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So I get up, I gotta go through to go over there and see you. And so it's those moments and times, and I just want to say, just by you taking a couple moments, I think we had our longest conversation was about 20 minutes. Just by you just caring and loving, and you shared some things about wisdom, you shared some things about your story. And as soon as you started sharing, I said to myself, I have to ask you to come on the podcast. And so you're here, and I am elated because of that. So again, thank you so much for joining us here at the Elevate.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
So I want to get right into it. Is that okay?
Of course, yes.
All right. So from what I read, and you told me a little bit, you left Sicily at 16.
16 years old, yes.
All right, with a dream.
I did, yes.
Okay, so what gave you the courage to take that leap so young?
Well, it was an opportunity that I had. My uncle was in here already, and he was in Richmond, Virginia. And I asked him if I can come to the United States.
Okay.
And he goes to me, yes, I think he can. So, I picked up the suitcase, and 6 months later I was here. I completed 16 years old on the plane almost. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I started washing dishes, but my ambition is always to pay attention to what everybody else was doing, and keep an eye on the line what they were doing. And 6 months later, my uncle opened a small pizza shop, and he put me in there.
Okay.
Because that's where you're going to be working, just pizza by slice. Okay. I don't even speak no English.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he put me in there, and I started serving pizzas and by the slice, and I worked my way up and learning English. And I don't go to school yet either. I just came to this country and started working 16 years old.
So you left 16.
Yes.
Your uncle says, come on.
Yeah, and that's it.
Now, he had a shop, or at first he didn't?
He had a restaurant.
He had a restaurant.
In Richmond, yeah.
Okay.
So then he opened a pizza shop. He put me in there because I'm a very ambitious guy.
Yes,
I'm a go-getter,
yes,
pretty
sir.
much. So he saw the opportunity in me, and he put me in there. I was there for a year, and of course, I had a couple of friends that I met in Richmond. They moved to West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And he asked me to go into West Palm Beach, Florida, and he worked in a very fancy restaurant called Pasquale's in Jupiter. And then I become work on the line, and I work my way up as a assistant chef.
Okay.
So we prep the food and we prepare we open at 4:00 and we close at 11:00. But we were working all day to prep the stuff because we make everything for the same day. Same thing I do today.
Wow.
We have people coming in and we do the same thing every day. We prep everything for the same day. I don't have anything that that I make today for tomorrow. Everything's raw.
Is everything fresh?
Everything's fresh. If I won't eat, I wouldn't serve it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't serve it. Yeah, so. And people know the difference. They're coming in and they say, how you do it? So I tell them, we do the same thing every day. Nothing changed, And like today, we made a limited stuff because we close tomorrow.
Okay.
So I don't have too much left over for today, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we go. We started keeping fresh. And, that's what I learned in West Palm Beach, Florida. I learned how to do all this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So before 16, were you into the restaurant at all?
Not at all. I was in construction in Sicily.
Construction at 16?
Yeah, actually, I started working at 11 years old in construction. Yeah.
11?
Yeah. Yes. 11 years old, I started working in construction, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I used to go to school, but I used to get in from the door and come out from the window.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used to go to work.
Wow.
And I don't like to go to school. I'll be honest with you. In school, it's a piece of paper.
Yes, sir.
I've always been a bit aggressive at work, and I always work very hard too.
Yeah.
And then I worked for construction from 11 to 16, 4 years, 5 years, and then I came in this country and. I worked for West Palm Beach in West Palm Beach for 3 years. Then I came over here and I opened my first pizza shop in Parksburg.
So your first pizza shop was in Parksburg?
Yeah, correct. And,
what's the name of that?
Rocco's.
Okay, Rocco's.
Yeah, Rocco's Pizza in Parksburg. And then I opened. My father sold the Rocco's in Exton.
Okay.
Which was the name. My father came over here in 1993.
Okay.
He came over here and we sold a pizza box in Tondale.
Okay.
Yeah, next to Walmart.
Oh, y'all been around for...
Yeah, I've been around for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been down in town for 45 years, 43 years I'm down in town.
Wow.
I see a lot of changes in this area.
Yes, sir.
So, my father sold the Rocco's in Exton. He opened in 84 and sold in 87. And he said, the guy that he bought, he said to my dad, he's got to stay here. Because if he doesn't stay here, I cannot buy the pizza shop. Because I was pretty much everybody thought I was the owner there because I was running it and all this stuff. And I was there from 87 to 93.
Wow.
In 93, I used to have a friend of mine that we worked together at Rocco's. We decided to open Anthony's in Marvin.
Oh, okay.
In 1993, we opened 1993 and we sold it 30 years later. Almost 30 years, 29 years later, we sold it, which was 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. And then when I was there at Anthony's, I decided to open a Pomod'oro. I bought a building. And it was very small. It was a little gas station many years ago. Okay. It was St. Clair gas station. So I remodeled it and I made it bigger. Yeah, yes. And I've been in Pomodoro 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing story, amazing food. Yeah. I gotta ask, as far as the work ethic. All right, because you said, look, I like to work. I work hard. I do what I do.
Work can never kill nobody.
Is that inherited? Is that something that your whole family's like that? Is it?
We all hard work people. My father told me when I quit go to school, he goes to me, okay, you don't want to go to school no more? I say, when you go to work, you have to show up early. Because when you're on time, you're late. And I never understood it till a couple of years ago. Because when everybody coming to work, if you show up 5 minutes late.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Now I say, why are you late? Because I'm on time. No, you're late. When you're on time, you're late. When you're early, you're on time.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And they look at me like I'm from a different planet,
Yes.
So that's why I grew up. My father didn't make it hard on us. It really did growing up, because he wanted us to go to school, we get an education, and we were totally against that.
Okay.
Me and my brother, we don't really have a very little school education we have.
Wow, but tremendous success though.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but I speak 3 languages. I speak, and I speak Spanish, and I speak Sicilian, I speak Italian, and and even if I understand somebody, like a customer coming in from a different country, I do my best to accommodate them any way I can.
Yeah.
Because I remember being here when I was speaking the language. So for me, it's like I have to, push myself to understand what they say, which I do get a lot of people coming in. They stay at the hotel in Downingtown, and from Germany and this and that. Even if you use your hand,
Yes, sir.
we can really communicate it together.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So a lot of we speak to emerging leaders, so some of our entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, but it seems like a lot of people that I've experienced are dreaming big, but get frustrated or disappointed because the big dream, even myself included, right? That big dream is not necessarily taking place. And I appreciate social media and everything else, but there's this world out there that's like, okay, this is how you get rich quick. You do this, you do that, so forth and so on. What would you say to that younger generation that has a big vision, but is frustrated or disappointed because it's not taking off the way that they see it?
Well, you have to, if you fall, you have to get up and try it again. It's very important. And another thing, money is not everything in life. Rich, to me, I don't look at myself as a rich person. I look at myself as a comfortable. And I like to take care of my employees. I pay my employees first, and then I pay myself less if there's any left over. And that's the way I look at it. I pay my vendors first, and if there's any left over, we take it for us. But I never look at money as a value. Okay. Money, it's an economy. You need it because you have to live.
Yes, sir.
If you have no money, you can live.
Yes, sir.
That's why, I have a little land in my house. I grow my own vegetables for myself. I raise my own animals. I have goats to make cheese. I have rabbits for meats. I have quails for eggs. Wow. I got chickens for eggs. I do every morning. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning before I go, 4 hours before I go to work, and I clean my cages. I make sure my animal fat. That's my passion that I have since I was a young boy. Wow! I love animals, and I love it, to cultivate, for a reason, not for pets.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if people like the idea or not, but like I said, rabbits, to keep them in the house, they suffer.
Yes, sir.
The rabbits, they need to be, I keep them loose. And all my goats, I have a big dog that guides my goats. It's called Congo. Oh, okay. It's a Congo dog from Turkish. And that dog, he has a full-time job. Wow. His job is to watch over my chicken and my goats.
Wow. He does a good job.
He does an excellent job. Excellent job.
Wow.
So that's the way I come in, and I like I said, you have to be ambitious to get somewhere. Don't give up too soon, man. You have to keep it trying.
Yeah.
And when you start from the top, it's not good, man.
Wow.
You have to start from the bottom up. You can look the other side. Wow. When you start from the top, you don't know what quality means. Or, go get it. Be a go-getter.
Because it's too fast, so you don't even really know how to do it again. I heard something, a quote before talking about, people who've, whatever, and I know wealth is not just money, but people who've had, wealth and success, sometimes they lose big,
they do,
but they know how to get back in there and do it again and again.
Well, depends.
Okay.
It all depends, because a lot of people, if somebody, let's say, I give you $10 million to start, and then you lose it, you won't be able to recover that money back because you never earned it. You never earned it. Me, I remember going to sleep hungry when I was a kid. Wow. We have a family of 4. My mom and dad, my father, he just, that's the reason why I went to work when I was a kid.
Wow. To
help my parents to go to make it through. Wow. And same thing with my brother. We went to work, and I used to make $6 a week.
$6 a week.
And that was a lot of money for me.
Wow.
So out of $6, I used to give him $5 to my mom. I used to keep him $1 for me to go to a movie and get a cannoli. And there was a call of the day on Sunday. There was a gift, special thing. I used to go watch a movie for $1 and get a cannoli and a cappuccino with that.
Wow.
For the $1. You talk about it in the 70s.
Wow. A cannoli and a cappuccino.
In a movie with the milliliter, which milliliter is like euro today would be $1.50 today.
Okay.
In euro, you know.
Wow.
So but I was happy with that because I used to be I used to do something, you know, to make it easier on my parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not to struggle. You know what I mean? But I remember sometimes, you know, we used to add a pot of soup. We used to, all six of us, we used to eat and it'd be comfortable. We you know, feel good.
Wow.
But my father made a point every Sunday to get one piece of meat for all of us.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that's how we grew up. We grew up very, very, very little, man.
Humble.
You know, we have humble, very special people, very holy. And, you know what I mean? We also go to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
My mother, she dressed us to the T, and we had very little. We never go outside with the pajamas and all this stuff.
Wow.
None of it exists.
I have to meet your mother.
Yeah. Today she's 88 years old.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah. She's 88 years old today. And tomorrow we're going to have it because we're going to be close tomorrow.
Yes.
So we're going to celebrate her birthday tomorrow.
Wow.
She's a special one, my mom. I wish I could have brought her along. We would have loved my mom.
Wow.
And she speaks pretty good English.
Okay.
You know, she's doing pretty good English, but she's an excellent cook, my mom.
Oh.
Excellent cook. Sometimes I ask her, Ma, can you come over and make a bruschetta for me?
Uh-huh.
She goes, oh, I'll be there. So she works across the street and she comes over.
Oh,
And because, you know, I have a property right across the street from Pomod'oro that
Yes,
she
sir.
lives in. I bought that for my mom. You know, because my father passed away last year, 2 years ago.
sorry to hear that.
That's okay. And she was all by herself, you know, all my family, they all married, everybody's busy. I said, just come over here, we take care of you, you know?
Yeah.
Because she take care of us growing up. It's our turn to take care of parents.
Wow.
And I just brought her back, and she's a happy camper. You know what I mean? Everything she needs, can you send me money card? Can you send this? And we have, you know,
Whatever you need.
whatever
I
she
got
needs.
you.
It's
Wow.
my mom.
You gotta let
know?
me know when she's over there again. I'll
Oh yeah,
drive on
definitely.
down.
Yes, yeah. I'll show you. I can take you over. Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. You have this I'll say joy, light that's inside of you. And I mean, I have to know, like, where did that come from? Because I'm listening to your story. I'm hearing you talk about humble beginnings. I'm hearing you talking about, you know, it wasn't necessarily easy, hard
no.
work, all those things. But
I still work hard.
absolutely, absolutely. And from my understanding and from what I see, very successful. Like I told you before we were on camera, like I truly honor you. Not knowing all the details and don't need to, but just what you stand for and how you operate. I see, and I look at the restaurant and I see younger people working, and I
They're
see
liking my kids. They're liking my kids.
but where does this joy, this positivity come from?
You know, Christian, I wake up each day, and as soon as I wake up, it's another beautiful day. I'm the kind of guy, when I was a kid, my mother used to put all 4 kids in the bottom of the bed, okay, and pray for another day. Thank you for another day. You have to be thankful for each day you wake up.
Wow.
Because a lot of people don't get the opportunity to wake up and do it all over again. I'm thankful for every day. And the joy is just to be happy. There's no reason to be sad. Life is beautiful, man. You know, I mean, you know, even when you, like I say, you try to make it and you fail, you have to keep it trying.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep it trying to get where you want to go. And today, these kids, they're not like my generation, man. You know, they're not go-getters. They're really not. You know what I mean? You know, and thank God I got very good kids that come to work for me.
Wow.
And I teach them, you know, not to be a slacker.
Yes, sir.
The first thing I tell them, do not be a slacker, because I don't like slackers.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And they look at me from, like I said, you know, I said, this guy is serious. So, and as soon as they lean, I said, do not lean. You have legs to stand on it, not to lean on the counter. You know what I mean? And they really, even the parents, sometimes they say, you know, thank you for what you do for my kids. Because it's easier to listen to somebody stranger than your own parents. You know what I mean? For me, it was totally different. My father used to say, I'll tell you once. Second time, you're going to get hit. Which I didn't get hit a lot growing up. You know what I mean? It was okay. It was okay. But I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you a very short story about my dad. 2 years ago, when he was ready to pass away, he wanted to see me so bad. And I said, okay, so I got the plane. I went to see him in Sicily. And he goes to me, I want to tell you something, with tears in his eyes. I said, what's up, Papa? He goes, I want to tell you that I want to apologize. It's exact words. I want to apologize for the way I treat you when you're growing up. And I said to him, Dad, I mean, I get tears just thinking about it. I swear to God, I can't believe I should tell him that. I thought he was going to die with guilt. And, you know what I mean? He would not die until he told me that. He said, I want to see you. He goes to me, I want to apologize for the way I treat you growing up. And I said, Dad, I want to thank you. I said, for what you did to us. Because if it was for you, we wouldn't have been in this position today. You see, he teaches us work ethic.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? That's the reason why, he treat us like, you don't want to go to school? I'll make you work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked us so hard to death. I mean, I swear to God, growing up.
Wow.
But I really appreciate what he did, because I wouldn't, like I say, I keep saying that, to some of these kids that work for me. My daddy told me exactly the words. You know what I mean? I'm going to kick your butt if you don't do my way or the other way. That's exactly what he said to me. You know what I mean? So for me, it was a live and learn experience that I had with my dad. He was sometimes it was a little too rough. Yeah. But it was okay though. You know what I mean? That's what makes me who I am today. But I would never hit my son. Sometimes I feel like doing it, but
well, you see mine too, right?
Yeah. But it's good. I mean, so the 2 days later he passed away. You just want to get off his chest.
2 days after 2
days after I went there to see him, he died. Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
4. My young sister passed away 10 years ago. She had breast cancer. Okay. In Italy, she died. Yeah. Wow. But like I say, for me, I'll be honest with you, I never complain, man. People say, I don't know why you're not like that. I mean, the only thing I complain about is when somebody's slacking or they don't do a good job at work. Honest to God, but in general, I never complain about my life or how hard I had, or I never do. The only thing I complain is when somebody decides to do the right way, they can make a sure way. Okay. You know what I mean? They don't follow through everything they do. That's the only thing I complain about, because it's not your fault, or when you come in to get something, it's not supposed to be that way. You know what I mean? It's their fault for not doing it the right way. And that's the reason why I told them, why you follow through with everything you do. Take an extra minute. Nobody rushes you. You know what I mean? It's not because somebody put a gun in your head and say you have to do it right away or you're going to kill you. Just take your time and do it right, because my customer, they want to go be suffering. You know what I mean? And that's why, I'm very particular when it comes, what are you going to eat and how it's going to come out. You know what I mean? If it doesn't look good, it doesn't taste good. Wow. You know what I mean? That's what I told my customer. Even sometimes on Friday, they make pizzas, my guys, and they're rushing. They're busy. I understand they're busy. But I'd rather people wait an extra minute and the pizza be perfect than they give it like an egg-shaped pizza or a square pizza for start around or too thin with a hole in the middle. It's what I tell them, just take an extra minute, man. You know what I mean? If somebody complains, I go say, apologize, but I want to give you perfect pizza. Wow. And people don't going to be complaining after that. Wow. Which I do a lot of times. You know what I mean? I see people stare at me and say, what's my pizza? I say, buddy, your pizza is going to come out in a second. It's going to be perfect. And people are happy. Yeah.
I love it. You make me think about customer service.
That's what it is.
Because
That's what it is.
I think no matter what business you're in and how you're operating from there, and listen, Elevation Nation, if you haven't already, you should have your pen and your paper, because if you listen to Mr. Tony talking about so much wisdom that he's dropping wisdom, he's dropping love, he's dropping life, but he's also sharing about integrity and character. And that's what you're talking about when it looks like an area of when people aren't watching, the divine God knows. And so how we're operating and cooperating and who we're serving, talking about the area of pizza. This is not just talking about something he's read. He's talking about a life that he lives and that he continues to share from generation to generation to generation. So I think about that customer service aspect, because we're in a world with a whole lot of reviews and all this stuff kind of matters pertaining to business, and everybody has a word and I get it. I understand it, but the value of customer service and caring for people, do you believe and feel people can tell the difference whether you're pretending or versus you're like authentically caring from there?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And also, even if you go to Home Depot, you know what I mean? And the people that just say, why I to be here? Yeah. To me, it's horrible. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be in customer service, don't be in it. Nobody, like I said, nobody obligate you to be rude to me if I go there, or don't give me good service, or no smile at me, or not even a little slight of conversation. It's very important that you have to communicate. It's a beautiful day today, huh? What does it take to do that? It's nothing. Wow. It's a cheap token. You know what I mean? So it's very important that, I tell my employees all the time, when people come in, make sure you always have a conversation. Don't take the money and then they give you the order. First, they give you the order, you check, and then take the money.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you might miss something. You see, you know, I'll be honest with you, thank God, you know, I mean, I have a very good team in the front. I have, 3 young ladies. They work. They start as a cashier, then they become oysters, and then become servers.
Mm-hmm.
I started from the cashier that they can learn the computer,
Okay.
and then they can go serving, and then know the computer in and out. Because we have a lot of modification at the restaurant.
Okay.
A lot of people don't want this, don't want that. You know what I mean? So it's easy for them to do. They do a better job than I do.
Okay.
Because I'm not good in computers, I'll be honest with you. So, you know, and I keep them, they stay for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Wow.
Working for me. You know, they started 15, 16 years old, and they live sometime after they get married. I got people at Anthony's in Marvel, 33 years work for me.
Wow.
They're still there today. Servers. I got people work for me for 10 years, working at Pomod'oro. They never quit. I always have new people. So the girl works in the front, hires a friend, you know, because it's a great place to work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm not easy with them.
Okay.
Because I try to make them, you know, a good work ethic. I don't like slackers, like I will say before. You know what I mean? And they know that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I have the best kids, I'm telling you. I got one kid I know since the day she was born, work for me. Chloe, she's a nurse in Philadelphia now. The twins, because it's 2 twins, work for me since day one.
Wow.
They work for JP Morgan.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm telling you, and when on the application, when they went to get the application, because Tony Cataldo told me when you're early on time, okay, when you're on time, you're late.
Yes.
The guy goes, man, the guy was reviewing because my this guy's so on the ball, and they both were hired for the company because the way I am, and
you're good.
And
I got you. No worries. Yep. Is it tighter that way? Yep. Got you.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So, like I said, I have people, and even the twins, they work in one in New Jersey, one in Delaware. If I need them, they work for me. Honest to God.
Why? Why?
Because I take care of my employees. They first of all, they eat what I eat.
Okay.
And yesterday, was a little off day. My wife went to get food for everybody to eat. It was a Latino food, and we all sit down and eat together. Whatever, we stand up and eat in the kitchen. We all, and they come in, they're hungry. We feed them. I treat my employees the way I want to be treated. Well, no difference.
That's where I want to go a little deeper, because there is a generation is feel like, okay, because I'm the boss or I'm a manager, I'm this or that, you do as I say, so forth and so on. So I'm hearing you talk about like you truly care for them. It's like family. It is family. It is family. There.
I can do it alone.
Wow.
If you don't have those kids, I can do by myself. No matter how good you are.
So what do you tell this younger or generation or anybody's watching now who's in leadership, who's managing, who's owning, how to the key of treating their employees well?
You got to treat people the way you want to be treated. No different. If you want to be treated rude, you treat them rude. You're not going to get no respect back. Wow. You got to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And sometimes a little bit goes farther away.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So, if you treat them well, they're going to run your business well.
Wow.
Let's say I'm not there right now. I know my business is being run right. I got three young ladies that take care of everything. They take care of my bakery. They take care of my phone. You know what I mean? And somebody's assured they go get somebody in the back. I need somebody in the front. We work as a team.
Yeah.
And I do. I have a very good team, I'll be honest with you. In the kitchen, it's the best team in the world.
Wow.
And I have people working for 27 years, working in the kitchen. That I brought them from Anthony's. They have his brother and his cousin. They're all family in the kitchen.
Wow.
And I don't want to brag, but we have very little bit of waste because they prep everything the same day, and the waste is a very limit. And the waters come out perfect all the time. The food is always hot.
Yes,
what I mean?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, very, very hot. So for me, it's consistency. It's all about quality, quantity, and freshness. That's all it's all about. I mean, nothing else matters, really.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And there is every week it's a challenge for me to order the same thing because, prices keep going up. You know what I mean? But I won't change the product for no reason.
Wow.
I don't care. You know what I mean? And I can change my prices every week either, because it will cost me a lot of money to change my money every week. Like a lot of restaurants, they print it and put it in there and they change the price. I will never do that. My customers are loyalty is very important for me. And I do so much for my customer. You know what I mean? And my customer always tell me, you can raise your prices a little bit. It's okay, I say. You know what I mean? You know, it's all good. Like I say, you can take it with you when we die. Everything stays behind. And they look at me and go, this guy is crazy, you know? Like I've said to you before, money is not everything. Money is important because you pay bills and all this. But like I said, I pay my employees, I pay my electrical bill, my gas. I have a little bit left over. That's all we need, man. Because if we come in naked, we live in naked in this world.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
You know? So it's important that people understand that. You know what I mean? You know, like the new generation today, they need to be not so cocky, I would say. Okay. They just bend yourself backwards and let people, and absorb in what people older than you start telling you.
Yes, sir.
It's very important, you know, that's how you learn. You know, they're the dinosaurs. We are the chickens. You know what I mean? So we have to learn from older people because they've been around before us. Yeah. You know what I mean? I cannot learn from somebody younger than me. You know what I mean? The guy doesn't know, but somebody older than me, he always learning more about it.
Wow. There's insight and there's that wisdom. And I think sometimes too, this is what I love, because sometimes there's a gap between my generation, your generation, older generation pertaining to that. And I think there is a listening that involves in both, but there also is an area of honoring where each other are. Like I say, like I honor who you are. I honor what that is. I felt nothing but respect and love from you as well. Thank you. My thing may not be your thing, but if we sit down around the table and we talk and we understand, we learn from each other for what that is. I have so many lessons just from you sharing here that some of it I'm interpreting, okay, I can take this and think about how I'm treating my sons. And I always tell people I have three boys. I'm raising 3 African-American kings. And in this world and time, sometimes that's not necessarily easy pertaining to that, but it still is what it is. I'm blessed to have it. I move forward within there. I'm not saying it's easy for anybody else either, but I'm saying what I've dealt with. But looking at what that looks like in this day and time, and then I tell my kids, I have twins. The ones that you met, they're twins, are fraternal. And they're 16. So they want to drive, they want to do this, they want to do that as they grow. It's my first, I've never raised twins before. I never raised kids before, but it's that patience. But actually, I learned so much from them as well. And so I think there's wisdom and insight, but there's a wisdom that you have that I don't have. I just haven't been here long enough to understand and see that there's still wisdom and insight that you have, and I need those things. And so I do view it as like scripture talks about one body, many parts. I might not be the hand, I might be the arm, but together there's something powerful. And so I thank you again for your model of what it's to be consistent, to care, to have legacy, and not just through your family line. You have legacy in the community. You have legacy. It's like the kids you're bringing up in your restaurant as well. Like that legacy to me, that means something, because when we leave this earth, that's the part that we have behind.
It's memories. That's all you have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's memories. The people go, oh, this guy used to do so good over here. Or this guy used to making such good food over here.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's all you have left. And I mean, really, like I say, money is not everything.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? For me, a loyalty and, you know, be where you are, it's very, very important today.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. All right. So I usually have my my guests end by sharing a word of wisdom, just something that we can carry with us throughout the rest of this week. Maybe it's a life verse, a quote, something that you tell yourself or your employees, but something that we can take in with us. So what word of encouragement could you give all of our listeners that we can take throughout with this week?
Well, for me, like I told them, you know, when they come in and they said, I told them, so today is a beautiful day. You know what I mean? It's never to be, you know, make yourself down, you know, and love yourself. You have to love yourself first, you know, before you can love the other. You know what I mean? And if you love yourself, you know, you got love for everybody else, but you have to love you, because like these kids today, man, they're sad. A lot of kids are sad today.
Wow.
Honest to God, I don't know what it is. They come in and they're like, and I know it's not a family. I'm sure sometimes I come from broken family.
Mhm.
You know, what I mean, I feel that, you know, because they don't got that mom and dad together, and these kids, they really, they suck it in and they don't talk about it too much. You know what I mean? And I can see in their eyes, I can see how sad they are.
Mhm.
And I always tell them, life is too precious to be sad.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? That's what I always tell them, you know, these people. You know what I mean? That's how I would tell anybody.
Yeah.
Life's too sad to be upset, or
Too precious.
it really is. You have to
Yeah.
be, you know, thankful every day you wake up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be yourself.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? You have to be yourself, and I mean, for me, I grew up like that. You know what I mean? My mom and daddy, like I said, they always, you know, we always had, mom and dad with us. And, you know, even when my parents went to Italy, I used to call them once a week. I used to call them.
Okay.
You know, always call my mom. If I don't call my mama once a week, I would be in the doghouse.
We don't want problems.
No, and today they're not like that no more. It's unfortunately, you know, kids, they don't got the, I don't want to say the love from the, you know, the love they should have from the parents.
Yes,
They're pretty much on their own.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it should be that way. You know, it takes both ways. You need the love of the parents show to the kids.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because the kids are still growing.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? You know, that's what they call kids. We are the parent.
Mhm.
If you educate them,
Mhm.
they're gonna give the education back to their own kids.
Wow.
If you do what you're not supposed to, they're gonna do exactly what they're not supposed to other kids.
Yeah.
So it's like a wheel that runs. You know what I mean? You know, if you mistreat your kids, they're gonna mistreat their kids.
Yeah.
So it's what's been missing today in society.
Yeah.
You know, in the 50s and 60s, you know, people used to play outside with the kids. Now you don't see kids outside playing no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, everybody, you don't even know your neighbors. You know what I mean? It's not like before you used to leave the doors open.
Wow.
You know, we used to go through the balcony and we used to talk from the floors to floors.
Wow.
You know, we don't got that no more.
Yeah.
We really don't. That's what I would say. You know, just take care of your own kids and treat them with love.
Mm.
If you can treat them with love, they're going to give love back.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He cannot buy love.
Yes, sir.
He cannot.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's all I was telling my son all the time. I says, you know, you got to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? If we can treat people the way they be treated, they're never going to have no respect.
Wow. Wow.
That's me.
Listen, y'all, Elevation Nation, please take the time, if you haven't already subscribed to the Elevate It podcast, but we also invite you to go ahead and stop by Pomod'oro. So where are you located?
We are located on 200 Chestnut Street in Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to put the link there so you can go ahead and in our area of our show notes, make sure that you stop by. And listen, if you do go by, please stop on by that bakery section. If you see this awesome, enlightened, powerful, loving, yet encouraging man back there, Mr. Tony, go by there and experience every flavor that they release. So I thank you again for taking the time out with us on Elevate It Podcast. You're amazing. You're awesome. Elevate It Podcast. You guys are amazing as well. Make sure that you will continue to go ahead and stick around. You guys will make sure that you are not only stopping by, but bring somebody with you to experience this culture, to experience the love and the lessons that are there. Elevation Nation, as always, you are amazing. If you haven't already, make sure that you have your book too. The newest one is out, and I'm giving this to Mr. Tony.
Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you very
so
much.
much
I
for
appreciate
that.
it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Make
Thank
sure
you.
you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as our LinkedIn profile as well. May good, great, and awesomeness continue to flow to you and through you all week long. Blessings.
God bless.